I take pride in my work, and I ain't lying. Welcome back to Lycanthrope's Gaming Space, the second bonus video for Totally Rad on the NES. Last time we went through things like the elemental spells and some of the different oddities of the game, and this time around it's pretty much going to focus on bosses. So, without further ado, I'm feline groovy. Let's rock and roar. But Fish reaches the bottom of the waterfall fairly easily, and now we have Nautikill, and going to do some proof of concept with the various animal forms. First off, how a lion handles Nautikill. I have not changed back to Jake to heal myself, so notice how little health I'm going into this with. This exposes one of the lion's problems. The fish don't always swim down far enough to get hit with the shock claws. The other problem, well, lion does have that invincibility jump. If the fish decides to shoot or spit out a fish right next to him, he may not always have either the angle or the time to kill it before it gets to him. However, being able to deliver so many powerful hits in a row, well, what can I say? Cats like fish. Now, Eagle is well and truly fucked down here, because its complete inability to jump underwater means that it is totally at the mercy of where Nautikill decides to come down. And yeah, it's very rarely going to cooperate. So yeah, Eagle, this is one case where Eagle just don't. The fish, of course, has the easiest time against Nautikill. You do have to be careful, however, of how high up you go, because when Nautikill comes in like that, you may not be able to get out of the way of the little dartfish or whatever. Now, a little proof of concept here. Now, you see, Nautikill's got basically one hit to go. Now, if I switch to Eagle here, Eagle can very easily finish it off to Hotel California, which allows us to go into Act 4 already in the form of the Eagle with full magic, which means 2 bits of magic we don't have to use to become arguably the form we need the most in here. Anytime you can conserve magic, do it. So I'll just let Jake be proud of himself there, and and here we go with the most fun part. This asshole. Now the thing is, doing a little proof of concept there with Jake. Jake cannot hit this guy anywhere but the head, and there is actually a technique you can use. You're gonna see it in full in a moment. That makes this guy not that dangerous. Basically, you stand in these corners here. You can get one shot at him on each pass. He won't use his full blast of the gun for the second and third shots. He then will make a jump. You run under him, hit him again, run back to the other corner, and rinse and repeat. And I do mean repeat. Now, just proof of concept here. Jake's charge shot, in order to make any use of it at all, he has to hit him in the head, which means he has to be up there. And that allows him to use his tongue attack again, plus the full spread shot. Now, this is me doing it with Jake's regular shot, and keep in mind, Jake's damage is 1. Now, occasionally you can get this guy glitched up there on on the ledge where he had drifts down like that, but I have no idea how to do it with any degree of consistency. So I usually settle for this. Now by doing this method, you can lock him into this pattern as long as you keep doing your part of the pattern. And like I said, he will only do the spread shot the first time. The other 2 times will be just a double shot. And he will not ever use his tongue lash attack. The most important thing in this technique is to prioritize getting to the other corner of the room. And stay off the platforms. You want to stay in that corner. As long as you are there, you don't have to duck. But you'll easily be able to just let the shots go over your head. I had no idea this technique existed until I happened to look at a GameFAQs. I would like to publicly credit Kenpo Coyote on GameFAQs for doing a write-up of Totally Rad and telling me this technique. So thank you very much, Kenpo Coyote. One slight variation in what he said to duck in the corners. It's possible ducking may be what gets the guy to jump up onto the ledges, but I never really worried about it too much. In fact, I found ducking in the corners makes it a little bit easier, or I'm sorry, a little bit harder to take off on a dime and turn around to keep the pattern going. I also just noticed that on the right side with the Vincent van Gogh stuff in the background, the swirls, there seems to be a cutoff. It looks like there was a wall panel right here, indicating with my mouse. That right there, it looks like it was tiled. But anyway, at this point, there's really not much difficulty to this guy at all. Frankly, your biggest enemy at this point is boredom. I have had times where I've gotten hit because I've just gotten complacent and zoned out and not paid attention enough to get away from the shots. The other thing you want to not do is get greedy. If you have a chance where he's up on that platform, that's your chance to get more than one shot in. Otherwise, be happy with one shot. Now, there is something you're going to see in a moment when I use the animal forms for this. The thing is, Jake actually has the hardest time with this guy while still being able to beat him. Because Jake has no choice but to shoot him in the face. As it turns out, the invincible part of him is his legs. He is actually vulnerable in both the face and the gut. But the problem is Jake's Magic Blast is too tall. It basically registers as hitting his invincible areas instead of hitting his face or his gut. So Jake can't hit him from a standing position. But you'll see how that can be used to your advantage in a little bit. Maybe not a little bit. I apologize because I wanted to show this off. This is going to take a while. And I was tempted to put in a shot counter here. But the thing is, I don't really know how to make one other than to do image after image and change it every time Jake makes a shot here. Which basically means for this guy, I would have been making an image edit every single freaking time he takes damage. And, you know, I have a life to get to. It's not much of one, I will admit, but it's there. So, What I did, however, I actually tracked, based on the number of shots it took them, how many hits each form would take in order to kill this bastard. And it should come as no surprise that because Jake has the weakest shot, he takes the longest. While he does have that charge shot, as you saw before, getting up on that platform to use it is just not a viable option. For one, it exposes Jake to the shots, which will cut off his charge, and it also allows this guy to do his, lick 'em up attack. So it's just not advisable, and it's really just not feasible. If it weren't for the fact that Jake's charge gets cut off every time he gets hit, then it probably wouldn't be so bad. You just have to keep tanking life, or possibly either doing invincibility or time freezing. But it's just not worth it. How about that local sports team, huh? While I've been talking, I haven't been keeping track of how much damage this guy has taken. I can tell you, because I remembered timing it based on the shot counter that I did on this video, that we are still a couple of minutes away from him dying. So, like I said, the advantage to this technique is if you do it right and just keep it up long enough, you can escape this completely unharmed. But I kind of compare this to some of the Mega Man Devil bosses. The idea being, if you know the pattern to them and you know how to dodge them every time, the battles just kind of go on, especially if you're trying to not use the weakness, because there's just, okay, well, I got one hit, and now pass this way, now pass this way. Hit you, pass to the right, hit you, pass to the left, hit you, pass to the right, and so on and so forth. And it's kind of the same way with this guy. But much the same way as using the Mega Buster is not ideal against Yellow Devil, the Elect Beam is the much better option. Using Jake against this mini-boss is just not the way to go. In fact, in all honesty, given the power difference between him and the animal forms, and the lack of any real usefulness of Jake's other magics besides the healing, Jake as a human is kind of pointless in this game. Which is what I've been saying all along, humans suck. Up with anthros. As long as the anthros actually do things related to their animal nature that make them cool and unique. And hey, there he's done, and by the way, that was 101 shots. Yes, 101. Which means that, this guy has 101 HP. I am pretty damn sure he is the most tanky anything in this game as a result. But now we will see how Eagle handles this. Now keep in mind, Eagle's shots are twice as powerful as Jake's, so Eagle is doing 2 damage per shot. And there's also something else that you're going to see in a moment here, which is something I actually didn't know before. And that is, I mentioned his gut was a vulnerable spot, right? I don't think I've quite caught on to it yet. But his gut is a vulnerable spot, and for whatever reason, Eagle's feather boomerangs can hit him there. Which means Eagle can hit him without having to jump at all. There we go. So not only does Eagle's attack do more damage, it has more opportunities to hit him. So the battle will go a whole lot faster. In most circumstances, I usually managed about 3 hits per pass on him, but I occasionally snuck in a 4th. It was mostly luck. If he took off jumping, then the feather boomerang was going to hit the legs there. As you can hear, it sometimes does, but it still counts as a hit. That didn't hit anything. I don't know why. And by the way, I actually went through all of these fights and double-checked just to make sure I was counting accurately. And I was. I got the same results both times. That was 51. Eagle can take it out in 51 hits. A little proof of concept here about the corners and ducking with this boss. Now, as you can see, I'm ducking here, and that lures him up to the platform. It doesn't always look like he's going to go there, but he does actually go there. And sometimes he just starts hopping ahead of time like a damn maniac. But as you can see, more often than not, he actually does end up on the platform, which gives me an advantage if he decides to start firing. Whether he's going to start firing or not is always a question, and as you can see, it's not always a foregone conclusion that he's going to land on the platform. This is very much a risk. So this is the part of the strategy that I really didn't employ. Also, it seems more likely for this to happen on the left side than the right. You'll notice there's a strange kind of gap when you stand next to the platform. And there it happens on the right, just to make a liar out of me. But this is one of those things, if you decide to duck there, don't rely on it, but if it happens, well, number one, don't headbutt the shot. And if it does happen, take advantage. And a lot faster because, again, Eagle has a lot more chances to hit it safely. So what about fish? Well, it should come as no surprise, and I'm very sloppy in this. Just shows you how easy it is to mess up this pattern if you're not careful. But fish also has shots twice as powerful as Jake's. And standing on the ground while it's up on that ledge is not going to help. Neither does anticipating too quickly when he's going to jump. But yeah, fish actually takes it out the same amount of time. And just a proof of concept, ducking down with a shot will not hit anything vulnerable. It will hit the legs, not the gut. So it won't count for shit. Don't do it. There's really not a depreciable, or appreciable rather, difference between how Eagle handles keeping the pattern up and how Fish does, or how Jake does. Obviously, Eagle and Fish don't have to jump, so there's that, but I don't think they run any slower. So, really, it's just a matter of player reaction. The timing with all three of those forms ends up being the same. Now, since I've shown Jake with his standard shot, and Eagle and Fish, I'm guessing you all know who's up next. And just like Eagle, that was 51 shots. Well, I wanted to know, so here he is. Thundercats ho! Now, Lion, unfortunately, Lion has one advantage in that he has the invincible jump so he can get through the shots, but he cannot hit this thing unless he is standing on the ledge on the side. And as you've seen before, when you're standing on the ledge on the side, the pattern is totally messed up. So that's the only way he can actually hit this guy. And the problem is, it's still going to get him hit, and the tongue attack goes back into play. Though it doesn't seem to hit him all the time. I don't know why. For the record, by the way, if Lion's attack worked reliably and Jake's charge attack worked reliably, they would take him down in 26 hits, according to my math. And last but not least, we have Edogy himself. So we saw how Jake managed it. Now let's see how the animal forms do. First off is the eagle, and the eagle absolutely owns Edogy. So you can shoot him in the feet, as you see. Edogy is also vulnerable in the head when the sword moves, but eagle is the only one that can get up there to do it. So that actually gives him more chances to hit him. And dodging the boomerangs is a very simple affair. Shot in the crang there. The crang cod piece, the crang piece. So you would think that Eagle would have problems when Edogy is this low. Nope. Can still shoot him in the crang. It's easier to lead the shots from the cannon, but it's not a sure thing. The thing is, Eagle actually should stay high as much as possible, because Edogy always dips the sword down twice, but only up once. Which means Eagle actually has twice as many chances to hit him as anybody else. And one in the brain pan. And Eagle strides off into the sunset, and now Fish. Now Fish is doing the same amount of damage as Eagle, remember. Fish has that very floaty, bit higher jump than Jake, and that actually does make it a bit easier for him to dodge the cannon fire. He seems to have a little bit more leeway as to where he can go in order to not only dodge the bullets, but also lead them. The cannon is basically shooting at where you are at the time, not where you end up. So because the jump arc is slower on Fish, it seems to make it a bit easier to draw the cannon fire away. And all you have to do is jump the boomerangs at their low height. Again, though, only a couple of shots per pass. And got a near-fatal mohawk there. But the larger power of the shots from the Fish will make up for that. And not a sure thing, but again, you know, easier. Certainly easier than Jake has it. Which means that none of these guys are less than Jake. Except for... yeah, sadly, Lion cannot bring this home for the team. Partly because his range is so short, it is nearly impossible for him to get in and get a shot without getting nailed by that sword. And that was just too funny, watching him just have that sword fall on him. I gave Lion one more chance just to, you know, because I feel bad for the guy. I wanted to see if I could make it work any better. But the problem with Lion, the only place he can actually hit is the feet. They aren't vulnerable, other than when Edogy is doing the sword attack. And Edogy moves so quickly that when Lion moves in to try and get it, the hits in, most of the time by the time he's in, the vulnerability is worn off, and Edogy will just happily sprint right into him. But as you can see, he can make the bottom fall out of the energy meter pretty damn quickly. Just can't bring it home. Or perhaps I spoke too soon. Yes, I forgot the lion's biggest advantage, and it actually gives him a big advantage over Edogy, as you'll see in a moment. Check it out. So, the advantage, of course, is the invincible leaping, not only allowing it to dodge the boomerangs, but allowing it to get in, get shots, get back out. Now, of course, you don't want to go too far in, because you have to basically get in while the sword's coming down and land in that little narrow space there. And that was bullshit. So the timing is fairly precise here, but it can be done. Most assuredly going to take a hit on the way out. This is a little trickier, this part. But again, I assert it can be done. You will not prove otherwise to me. I'm trying to prove that something will be done. I will not be thwarted by you, you asshole. The important thing to remember also is that Lion can do the shock attack while it's on the run. So yes, Lion actually can defeat Edogy, assuming you rewind enough. And flowers from Allison. Thank you very much. I do so appreciate it. Lovely magical gesture from our heroine. And with that truly wraps up Totally Rad. It's still a fun game. There is no mod, unfortunately, to play as Allison. I really wish by all rights there was. But maybe someday. I still really wish there had been a sequel to this game, because Jake and Allison fighting side by side, that would have made for a great two-player game. And, cat girls are in now, so I think Allison would have made a cute line. But at any rate, just like Zebekiah, or Zebediah, or whatever the fuck his name was, we are going to peace out back into the underground now and leave Totally Rad behind, all of its mysteries solved. So thank you very much for taking this one last journey with me. And always remember, if you really think someone's rad, send flowers. Take care. Until we game again. This episode's Underground Radio Top 101 Greatest Hits Countdown was made possible by Mike Panza, Rick in Baltimore, Coyote, Gizmo Gremlin, Jumpy Cat, Shin Majin, the post-production work of Matthew Carr Anderson, and all my request and dedicated Lycanthro fans. Thank you very much for your continued support. Until we game again.